How are you guys doing? It is a Wednesday night. And I thought we would do some egg white bread. Hold on, I'm going to turn on one more device. Hold on just a second. Okay, so a lot of times what people tend to want are actual tangible things that you can be doing in your kitchen. And so I thought, let's do that. Let's make an egg white bread. I do this all the time, right? And I teach you guys how I trade out my extracts, etc. And so tonight I would love to know, number one, if you're on the replay, let me know you're on the replay. That would be fantastic. Tell me where you're coming in from. That would be great. I tried as much as possible. Instagram, you're the only people that I don't have a number for you, because I know everybody's going to say over and over again, what's the recipe? Where's the recipe? How do I get whatever? Because we just want to recreate things, right? So I did put like a phone number on here, like over here for you guys. Let's see, where's it? There, right over there for Facebook, etc. You could use text recipes, plural, and you'll get a PDF download. And inside of that is this egg white bread recipe. And it's basically grain-free. So you guys, we always talk about being grain-free and sugar-free so that you're not spiking your sugars, so that you can stop calling on insulin and you can deal with your insulin resistance. Okay? So I'm actually going to start getting ready with some of the stuff, and then I can chat with you. And if you have any questions, you can always let me know what your questions are, like about insulin resistance, etc. This is what I talk about all day, every day. And so jump on in, welcome in. It's really good to see you. And I'm going to get started. This does not have a lot of ingredients, okay? But it is kind of a new, like it's different, right? It's not maybe your normal, especially considering the fact that if you're using, if you're used to like a lot of grain, right? Which was my life. Hello, I'm Italian, so I understand. But going grain-free really literally has changed my entire world. I'm 59, I don't ache, and I'm not on any meds. And even though my dad died of type 2 at 63, that's not my world at all. So he took the path of medication. I took the path of supplementation. I talk about that all the time, but let's get into the egg white bread so that you guys can actually get a tool in your toolbox. Let's get something working for you in your kitchen, okay? So if you've already made this before, I would love to know. Maria Emmerich is the one who introduced this to me, and then I just tweaked it, and I tweaked it, and I've just been messing with it. And hold on, I want to see if all of my audio is good. Am I good, honey? Okay, I'm good. Yay. I'm good. Julie, you just had cottage cheese with raspberries. Numb. Watching from North Carolina. Very, very good. So good to see you. How about anybody over here? Did you guys see? I just want to make sure I don't miss anything. Okay. We are good to go. Thank you so much. And if you find this information helpful, share it out, okay? Because I do talk a lot about insulin resistance and how you can turn it back so that you can like take back your body so that you can actually make memories, right? That's my whole goal. I want to be on the floor with my grandbabies, and that's literally what keeps me going. So, all right, I'm going to start with egg whites. You can go ahead and separate your eggs, no problem. You would probably use maybe 10 is what I'm thinking. I'm going to do a pint of egg whites. I like to keep it really easy. There are 2 cups in a pint. So here we go, 1, 2. And if I miss any comments, I apologize. I'm going to try really hard to stay on top of it, but I will be super honest. Like this is a new setup. We just moved. So this is my new setup, my new digs, man. So I'm just like, I have to make sure that I can actually like see all of my devices, right? So just let me know. Or put like a lot of emojis when you comment, and then it will like catch my eye. If you have a question, then I'll know. So I'm going to do a pint of egg whites, all right? And I'm going to make this one raspberry chocolate. And you might think I'm being weird, and that's okay. But I like to, you can turn this into a savory, or you can turn this into a sweet. So I'm a sweet girl. Like the first food that I wanted to trade out was like the 7-layer bar, okay? So I like to make sweetbread, and then I will fry this in butter in the mornings with eggs, and it tastes really, really good. Okay, so just track with me, And here we go. We're going to have some fun. I would love to know. Oh, so hold on. That was bouncing all over the place on TikTok. Sorry about that. Thank you for the follow. Yes, on TikTok, please do, because otherwise I just disappear into the algorithm. And so feel free to follow if you want information when it comes to like insulin resistance. I'm putting in a half a teaspoon of cream of tartar. I guess I'll tell you as I go, but I'm going to tell you, you can just text the number. And on Instagram, there is a number at the top of my profile. You can text recipes to the number 651-560-4778. I don't even know if I can say that on TikTok. I have to be careful. How many eggs in a pint? You might have to Google that one because these are all egg whites. So how many egg whites would be in a pint? Somebody could Google that. I actually don't know. That's a very good question. I wonder, I'm thinking it might be 10 that you would do instead of, I'm thinking 10. But I would definitely Google that. So I'm doing a half a teaspoon of salt. But in the PDF, you guys, I have a Samsung oven in my new home, Samsung appliances, and they sing to you. Do you guys have appliances that sing to you? My sister said, oh my gosh, you have singing appliances. Well, because she does too. So she's like, you got the singing appliances. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really funny. But anyway, egg whites, cream of tartar, salt. Now, I'm going to start to mix it a little bit because I'm going to put in 3 tablespoons of, let me explain 2 things. Gelatin. This is beef. You can get pork gelatin at like Walmart, Knox, Knox. I get this off of Thrive Market. I do have a Thrive button on my website if you want a membership. I think right now they're giving you $60 worth of free stuff when you sign up. I think that's what I saw there today. And so it's like an annual membership, and then you can get a lot of good sweeteners, like an almond flour, coconut flour, liquid stevias. I buy the caramel and the vanilla, and I use those a lot. You can buy all sorts of stuff with a membership. And so I have an affiliate link, and it is on my website, and you can go and look at that. When you text when you text recipes to the number, actually, you won't get it that way, will you? You would have to text list because then you'd get my site. Instagram, my site is at the top. TikTok, it's on my profile. Anyway, if you guys need something, let me know. I will tell you because I know that a confused mind does nothing and I don't want to do that. So, okay, I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of gelatin. This is going to help the texture of the bread. Then I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of allulose. Has anybody worked with allulose before? I'm going to show this to you guys. You don't have to have the straight allulose. It's probably backwards. I apologize. I don't even know, TikTok, if I can change that on you right now. So it's backwards. There is a blend that you can get in Walmart, and it is a Splenda blend. Erythritol, stevia, and allulose. It doesn't have to be 100% allulose, but it is the allulose, which is a natural sweetener. It is the allulose that will brown the bread. Okay, so I'm going to start mixing, and I'm going to add that in there because I need it to blend as I go. So hold on, get a little noisy. Just a little, not too bad. There's 3. And this just looks like this. One, 2, 3. Okay, there's 1 extract because I'm making this a sweet bread, right? This is not a savory bread. This is a sweet bread. So I'm going to add the vanilla extract on the front end, and I'm going to add an extra boost of sweetness, but the extract flavor I'm going to add at the end. So hang out for 60 seconds and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. Actually, it'll probably be more like 2 minutes, maybe 3. So I make sure that I'm seeing everything. I know that there are always comments that I miss, and I always feel bad, so I apologize, but hold on. Vanilla. Obviously, you would not add this if you were doing savory. And a squirt of liquid monk fruit. Just boosting the sweetness, okay? Now, oh, I did salt. Okay, hold on. I'm going to turn it up high now. Hold on. I'm going to move this for just a second. I want the whites just to get a little stiffer. Okay, so the key is that you want your whites to be nice and stiff, but you don't want them to be over whipped. I know, whatever. But I'm going to add a couple things here, and I'm going to kind of fold them in a little bit, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I will show you here what this looks like so that you can get an idea of the stiffness, okay? Can you see how stiff that is? Facebook, TikTok, I just want you to see how stiff that is. Oops, hold on. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my flavored extract. And the reason why I didn't do that at the beginning, I could do the vanilla, but there are extracts that are going to totally ruin your egg whites. So you don't want to ruin your egg whites, right? So I'm going to do this at the end. Tonight I'm going to add in raspberry. And then when I layer this, I'll show you what I'm layering it with, okay? But you could add, I love doing banana. I love doing almond. Almond is a favorite one of mine for sure, because I always think maybe like almond scones or something, that almond flavor that really gives you that yumminess. That's kind of what I think about. So I'm going to put in probably about a tablespoon. So 3 teaspoons-ish. And I'm just going to literally kind of pour it over the egg whites. And of course, it kind of melts them a little bit, so to speak. But it really does get that flavor in there. Okay. And then the other thing that I'm going to put in there is egg white protein powder. So if you've never made this with me before, if this has not been a part of your world, this is a protein powder. It's not whey. It's not pea. It's egg whites only. And this one I get off of, you can get off of Amazon.com. You can get it off of Walmart.com. Let me see here. I need my, here it is. The brand that I have been using is called Now. Sometimes it's the most inexpensive. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add about 2/3 of a cup. This is a quarter, so I'm going to do heaping of egg white protein powder. And this is, again, going to boost your texture so that it's like real bread. And then when this comes out of the oven, of course, you'll get to see what this looks like. So this is how I fold it in. Because it's very, you can kind of see that powder. Can you see the powder? Can you guys see this on TikTok? I don't know if you can. Here. Okay. And that's it. Like, stop. I have to stop now because I don't want to ruin my egg whites. Now, trick, take your parchment paper and just crumple it like this. I learned this maybe 2 months ago. I've made this like a million times. And here I am just learning these wonderful tricks, probably on TikTok, right? And then when I open it up, voila. Normally I use a bread pan, a bread loaf pan. Tonight I'm using a baker pan. The reason why is because this is going to make it wider and flatter, and I'm going to get these more like French loaf slices out of it. It's a personal preference. I'm just doing it for myself. And I'm putting this in my baker just like this. Okay, so you can see it's shallow, and that's kind of the size of it. Does that make sense? All right. So, and my oven is at 325. And this is all in that PDF. It's all in the PDF. And in fact, it's not just the egg white bread. It's also the sugar-free chocolate pudding that I make. It's also like there are some snack ideas, etc. Trying to think. I think the keto lasagna is in there, etc. So hold on. I'm going to take this off and put this in the sink. That is messy. All right. Okay, now we're going to layer this, you guys. This gets really good. Now remember, when I'm talking about insulin resistance on a regular basis, like I do, you still get to be a foodie. And I want people to hear that. You still get to be a foodie. Listen, I'm Italian. I get it, right? Like this was hard for me in my brain. It was easier in application. It was harder in my brain. It's literally why I started with supplements, because I did not think I could work with changing out my foods. However, when you do view food like this, all you're doing is asking yourself, is this going to spike my sugars? And if the answer is no, you're good to go. So here, I'm going to start layering this. And then when I get it in the oven, you can ask me questions about insulin resistance or some of the tips and tricks that I've done over the years, because like I said, I'm the only one in my family to have avoided type 2. And I did it with targeted supplements, and I traded out my foods. So here I've got a big pile, right? And I'm starting to layer it in my baker. This mixture of chocolate is just some cocoa. I like the Ghirardelli and powdered swerve. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see if you can see this. I think everybody can see it a little bit, and then I'll show you. I'm literally going to just shake this on here. The egg whites taste like raspberry now. They're all ready to go. And now I'm going to put a chocolate layer on there. You can see what I'm doing. Sprinkle, sprinkle. Sometimes I'll do a banana extract, and then I'll sprinkle cinnamon in the middle. Do a couple layers of cinnamon. Sometimes I'll do almond extract and do a chocolate in the middle. God, that's so much fun, you guys. It's so much fun to be creative so that you don't feel like you are totally missing out. You get to still love all the food that you eat. I want people to know that. You get to still love the food. You just change out the ingredients. That's all you do. Change them out. That's kind of what I help people do. So right now we're in the middle of a 5-day challenge inside of the Facebook group. And on Friday, I'll do a recipe. I actually don't even know what I'm going to do yet. But every week or every month, we have a 5-day challenge so that you can have a system. So that you can take down one of the months, like just nail it to the wall, and then add your months together and have like results and find out where you can be on your healing journey. Like you don't want to, you want somebody in your corner. You want somebody to encourage you. So hold on. I might even have extra here. So if this was a loaf pan, this would be piled pretty high. But this is going to be it's a low profile baker. All right. I'll put this in the oven for about a half an hour. And if you have questions on ingredients or how I made it or anything like that, or insulin resistance, feel free to ask me. Now I've got extra. So I'm going to probably set this aside for another loaf. Hold on. And in the oven she goes. This is what she looks like. She's piled pretty good. If it was a loaf, it would be really high. And there we go. Okay, good. Wow, because I'm using it for the first time. That was really good. All right, excellent. So basically, is it just egg whites? Basically, Tina, it is, because thank you, Cindy, for the follow, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me see. I want to see if I probably missed people. Basically, it is because the recipe, I need to stand back here so Instagram can see me. The recipe is egg whites, and then you're using an egg white protein powder that looks like this. So yes, but because of some of the ingredients like the gelatin, it's changing the texture, and the texture comes out so nice in comparison to, so the whole point of this, and I got this basically from Maria Emmerich, and then I tweak it myself. But the whole point is that when you go grain-free, it's really tempting to give in to the marketing of keto products that are being sold in the store. So if somebody says it's keto bread, at Aldi's, and we buy into that, etc., it's really not doing us any favors. And it's really frustrating because these are ways that their weight stalls out. It is delicious, Julie. Oh, seriously, you have thunder boomers there? Yep, funny. We haven't had a big storm yet. Well, maybe we have, but it's been a while. Boy, I love thunderstorms. They are so fun. But what happens is, thank you for the follow. When you are still eating grain and you're still spiking your sugars, I understand the concept of what they're trying to get across to you, but you can get better results and you can go faster in your journey. And I want people to tweak and go faster, but still love what they're doing. And so I just feel like Maria Emmerich has been such a great tool for me in my journey. Basically what happened is I started my insulin resistance when I was in my 20s. I was gestational diabetic with my first baby, and then I was hypoglycemic with my second. Thank you so much for the hearts. If you want the recipe, text that number, recipes, plural. I always have to say plural. Text the number because you'll get a PDF. And it will have the egg white bread recipe in it, but it will also have like a sugar-free chocolate pudding recipe in there and everything. Because I can't it doesn't matter. I don't have to explain it. Maybe I will though. Because your comments will go away, unfortunately. On Instagram and TikTok, they will go away when this is over. And so I won't get to see them. So it's easier for me to put up a number so that you can go find it and have it for yourself. You'll have the whole PDF talking about insulin resistance, and you'll have the whole all the information that you're looking for. So anyway, hello, Raquel. When I realized that I needed to do something for my own journey, I was already in my 40s. So I didn't do anything for 20 years. And, you know, it's really kind of silly because my dad died of type 2 when I was 30. And I should have done something, having been gestational, hypoglycemic, and he died at 30, but I didn't. And so when I was in my 40s, my mom was really, really bugging me about my sugars. Like, Kirsten, what's wrong with you? You know, I mean, I was obviously gaining weight, and she's like, why are you not checking your sugars? Do you even go to the doctor? Like, what are you thinking? And I'm glad she did it. It was really annoying, but I'm so glad she did it because it forced me to be like, I mean, inside of me, I knew that I wasn't going to change up my foods right away because I'm Italian, and that was very culturally connected to eating, weddings, funerals, the whole thing, right? Lots of emotions. So I didn't do it right away. I did supplements, and I talk about the trio all the time, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help with insulin sensitivity from the inside out. That's where all the testimonies come from, et cetera, especially from my type 2 customers, because they give me their data. God bless them. They tell me what their numbers are. And it's such a blessing to me because I love it when people are becoming their own advocates and then they can give me their information. Suffice it to say that when I finally realized that I could begin to do natural measures, that calmed my mind about food. Because when you are insulin resistant, you are hangry, you are craving carbs like a crazy person. It's a different journey when you're insulin resistant. And because your cycle is that you've been spiking your sugars and your body has been giving you insulin for a very, very, very long time before it shows up in your blood glucose levels. Very frustrating. And by the time that happens, sometimes it's like, oh, now you just need to be on medication. When the truth is that maybe they could have pulled a fasting insulin a lot sooner than that. Hello, Miss Anna. Good to see you. Had they done a fasting insulin, where I'm doing raspberry chocolate egg white bread. It's so good. And insulin is a hormone. They're not pulling a hormone panel like that. It's very frustrating. We can tell things are wrong in our bodies. I have so many people that reach out to me and tell me that, you know, maybe they've had a bad experience with an endocrinologist and them just feeling shamed about their weight. And nobody's having this conversation. Like, I can't believe people aren't talking about this. When your insulin and or your sugars are high, you can't lose weight and you're stuck. It's a biological conversation and nobody's having it. And obesity is not a calorie in, calorie out problem. It is a hormonal problem. And insulin is a hormone and cortisol is a hormone. And so this is where my journey took me, where I had to learn out my, Anna made an orange cinnamon one. Do you guys see how you can trade this out? So she did orange extract with cinnamon in the middle. Oh man, that sounds good, Anna. Good job. So I went on my own journey, and I, of course, didn't have TikTok or anything else. I just did it for myself. And I started to slowly change up my ingredients. But I'll tell you, I thought for sure, like I was 100% positive I was going to have to give up being a foodie in order to really do what I needed to do. But I didn't. So I use supplementation to like rev up my body to function, and I still take them to this day. And then I started to trade out my ingredients. That's how I, that's how I don't ache, because I'm grain free. And also too, when your insulin resistance turns around, one of the benefits is that all the inflammation comes down. High insulin is a lot of inflammation. So it comes down, you start to feel better. You have more energy because it's finally getting the fuel into your cell. The cell door is not closed, because that's what resistant means. It means the cell is resistant to the insulin trying to get fuel inside of it. Insulin is like a key. It's trying to unlock the door, but the key is broken. The door is closed. So you need to become insulin sensitive. This is the conversation. This is the one. This is why we hit our 40s and we can't lose weight. And the things that used to work for us don't work anymore. This is how this goes. Over and over and over again, I talk to women who are like, oh my gosh, I was wondering why counting points didn't work anymore. I was wondering why calorie deficit alone wasn't working anymore. I was wondering why I'm exercising my face off and I cannot get the weight to budge. It's because when your insulin and or your sugars are high, you can't lose weight. And so once you begin to take this journey, like, you can rev up your body very quickly, by giving it some raw materials that it needs in order to function. This is not rocket science. We're not talking about something terminal. We're talking about something that's fairly simple, but we're just not being given the proper information on it in order to achieve what we want to achieve. So I just am like, this is a great conversation to have. Type 2 diabetes obviously is a result of insulin resistance gone, too far. Gout, PCOS, there's a fatty liver connection, and type 3 diabetes. Does anybody know what type 3 diabetes is called? I would love to know if anybody knows the answer to that. I mean, just in general, like, it's a conversation. It's a real conversation. I would love to know if anybody knows that one. But if you want the recipe, text the number, okay? And it's at the top of the Instagram page too. You can text the number recipes and get a free PDF. And this will be in there. That way, because it's easier than to just keep saying the recipe over and over again. So there we go. Anyway, that is just funny. So good. So type 3 diabetes. Yep. There you go. Beth got it. Linda got it. Yep. Alzheimer's, dementia. So my mom, this is why I get really riled up about a few things, because my mom's mom, 100% Swedish. Yep, dementia. Don has it. Yep. 100% Swedish. She played Scrabble until she died at 97. And she wouldn't have died had she not had an accident. She fell. It doesn't matter. And so we never saw dementia coming with my mother at all. Like, this was not normal. But what happened was she ended up getting kidney cancer, and she had one kidney taken out. So they told her to stop paying attention to like protein. Like, watch your protein, be scared of protein. That's what she was told. You still owe me the praline recipe. You're so fine, Beth. Don't you even worry about it. But if you do send it, that would be lovely. But don't worry about it. You're fine. I probably don't need it, right? I probably don't. But anyway, so she starts to not eat a lot of protein, and she starts focusing way more on carbohydrates because now she's afraid of protein. She only has one kidney. So she becomes a carboholic, and she ends up with dementia. No, sorry. First, she ends up with type 2 diabetes, which was not in her bloodline, was not in her family, was not a part of her history. But she created it because type 2 is hyperinsulinemia, and it basically is overconsumption of carbohydrates over a long period of time. And so basically what you're talking about is something that then developed into dementia. So she passed away last year at a very beautiful age of 94, but for the last 5 years of her life, we took care of her inside of facilities, like independent. We became her assisted living. But then when the shutdown came, we just took her out immediately. And thank God, seriously, thank God we were able to navigate her world and take her. She lived with my sister for a couple of years. Then she came and lived with me because we were just not going to do that. But the truth is that inside of any of these facilities, the way that they feed you, even though you have type 2, is a total joke. Don't think they're going to protect you. Don't think they're going to pay attention to that on your chart, because they're not. Because they will tell you, potentially, because I'm not a doctor, I'm just an Italian girl who figured things out, potentially they will tell you that you can have 150 grams of carbs a day as a type 2 diabetic. And that is really, 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 really bad advice. So that's not very helpful because you can't turn anything around with that. And the answer is that you're going to need more meds, or you're going to need higher doses of meds. So having said that, I do get super passionate. I think it was last night, yesterday maybe, I don't remember. I said I get really obnoxious. And Jacqueline, one of my customers and friends, she said, "You're not obnoxious. Your passion is contagious." And I'm like, oh my gosh, because I just, you know what, I spent my entire life watching this now. My entire life. You know, my dad, when he was, I'm really smart Italian girl, though. You deserve more credit. Well, thank you very much, Beth. You're my new best friend. You're so sweet. You know, my dad, when he was alive, he did not have quality of life. And so this is why I talk about certain things. This is why you'll hear me repeat certain things. The fact that I'm 59 and I wake up in the morning and I don't ache, I don't take this for granted. When I wake up and I'm able to just function, I just went out and played a couple games of pickleball with my husband tonight. Some friends called. We're just learning. I'm brand new. I think I've played 10 whole games now. But the fact that I can do that and my body doesn't ache, well, my muscles might hurt tomorrow. Like, let's be real, right? But in the meantime, that's not my default. And I know that it's because of how I supplement and how I eat. So when I share these things, I want people to have quality of life. Like, this is very important. My father's quality of life was surgery, recovery, dialysis, throwing up, and literally 36 hours before he died at 63, he was throwing up in his house. We were home for vacation because we were living out in the Black Hills of South Dakota. I'm in Minnesota now. I'm back. He was in Minnesota. We came to visit because we knew his health wasn't great. He was gray because his heart was so damaged from his insulin resistance. And 36 hours before he died, he had yet another dialysis session. And that night he was throwing up. And he told my sister, he said, this is no way to live. So 36 hours, he died after a dialysis session, sitting in the cafeteria of a hospital. He was done. He tapped out, man. He was like, and I'm out of here. So having quality of life, right? Like, we think, it's not, we all think that absolutely everything in life matters until you lose your health. And then you realize, oh, that was the one thing that actually mattered. Because if you don't have quality of life and you can't go and make more memories with your grandkids or with your spouse that you love so much or whatever, you're like, what was I thinking? Right? I mean, that's just the truth. Your creatine levels came back elevated last week. I'm guessing it's because I'm eating way more protein and no carbs, sugar, maybe. I'm not a doctor. So I would do this. I would look up Dr. Ken Berry, Berry, on YouTube, and look up, like, type in Dr. Ken Berry kidneys. Get information. Dr. Eric Berg, ERIC. Maria Emmerich has a blog. I would look up alternative information, because in the end, for my mom, this is my story now, for my mom, doggone it, I wish that I would have known what I know now from studying, that because the second that we brought her into our homes, we immediately, like, let's ditch as many carbs as possible, and she's going to eat protein, because we need her to have some lean muscle mass here, and we need her sugars to go down, down, down. So, yep, I would definitely look up third-party resources on that. That would be really smart. I know, bless his heart, Beth. It was very tragic. And, you know, I was 30 at the time, so I wasn't really processing this very well. You know what I'm saying? My kids were little. They were 6'3" and 6 months. So I wasn't, like, really thinking about the quality of his life and the age, I'm 30, 63. I knew it was young, but I'm telling you, it's really young now because I'm 59. Oh my gosh, it's like, oh wow, he was really, really young, right? But that's just the reality. And I look back at his life and how, because he was injecting insulin in his belly twice a day and he had a lazy Susan full of meds when he died, his life was for the last, oh goodness, decade maybe, where he would wake up and he would take his injections, he would take his meds, and he wouldn't drive anywhere for a really long time because he wasn't safe. I need to kind of move this here. This is toasty oasty. So he wouldn't drive anywhere until like noon because he wasn't safe to drive. He needed to have his medicines work with each other. And of course, they weren't working with each other. And because he was a business owner, he would just sit at home on the phone talking to his employees and such because he wasn't safe, right? And this is going to come out of the oven in about 10 minutes here for you guys. But I'm healthy 59. I am. Yep, I'm in a completely different place. And I feel like I knew I was going to do something different. I just had no idea how I was going to do it different, Beth. You're right, though. I did do it differently because I needed to have quality of life. And I envisioned this long before I had grandbabies. Thanks for all the hearts. You're amazing. I envisioned long before I had grandbabies the kind of grandma that I wanted to be, that I wanted to have energy. I wanted to have stamina. I wanted to have function. I wanted to be on the floor with my babies. And so that's now the life I'm living because my grandkids are 3 and 1.5 and is he 6 weeks? He might be 6 weeks. So he's just a little pumpkin head. Anna, you moved over. You're awesome. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. Anna's over on TikTok now. Very good. So this will come out in about 9 minutes. Does anybody have any questions when it comes to insulin resistance? I do know that the Facebook feed gets a little wonky. Like I don't see all of the messages for whatever reason. And same thing happens on Instagram. I know that happens. So with Facebook, I go back and I look to see if any, if there are questions that I need to answer. You can always text recipes, plural, to that number if you want to just get a free PDF. And the PDF has information on insulin resistance. It has snack ideas. It has recipe ideas. And it has information on the supplements, the trio, the 3 supplements that have the 3 ingredients that help you with insulin sensitivity. The stories on that, somehow I need to incorporate. I'm thinking as I'm like telling you this, somehow I need to incorporate the testimonies into the PDF because like on Instagram, at the top of my page, there's a testimony bubble and it's pink and you can look at the testimonies. And most of those are since January. So I just get them all the time. That's what happens. So you would have to type, let's see here, at the top of I want to see who that was, Budney Fam. There's a phone number at the top of my Instagram page. Text recipes, plural, to that phone number, and you'll get a PDF that'll come to you, kind of an automatic deal. Because once this live is done, your messages will go away and I won't get to see them. And the same thing happens on TikTok, but I can't fix that. But anyway, so it's been a journey, but it's been a good one, and I feel like it's made me stronger in my opinions. If you can believe that. Oh my gosh. Like I'm very opinionated, but I plan on being even more opinionated. I think the dementia did me in. The dementia made me really, really frustrated with the process of knowing how unaware systems are to help people who are insulin resistant of the brain. We should not be feeding them sugar every time they turn around. We should not be allowing them to eat as many Oreos as they want or have as much grain as you want. Switching to grain-free is a very important piece of the puzzle when you are insulin resistant, because you are trying to eat things that do not spike your sugars, because when you spike your sugars and you're insulin resistant, your cells can't take in that insulin. But your pancreas is going to keep on making insulin, and it's going to make more insulin because it thinks it's not doing a good enough job. So your inflammation is going to go higher and higher and higher. So you're over here eating grains thinking you're doing a good thing, thinking that that's really smart because you've been told that. You've been told that grains are amazing. Well, they're not when you're insulin resistant, because you have to stop the cycle. That's the conversation. But I promise you, once you start to understand that insulin and sugars, when they're high and you can't lose weight, you start to see things through a different lens because you have a different purpose. And that helps you out so tremendously. Thank you so much for sharing. You guys are awesome. That's what changes things. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Hold on, I want to see if I'm missing anything, because I can tell that things are jumping on me, but that's okay. It happens. Oh, somebody's called Kiki. If you're still on here, Kiki. So my name is Kirsten. Kiki was my nickname. 63 is so young. Colleen, hi. Good to see you. So, yeah, my nickname was Kiki with some family friends when I was homeschooling my kids. So that was really fun. All right, want to make sure. Okay, this is going to come out of the oven. Hi, Kiki. Thank you for following. That's funny. I don't know if you're the same Kiki, but that's really funny. Two Kikis. Grains are less dense too. What does that mean, Beth? What do you mean by that? Less nutrient dense. Yeah. Thanks, iPhone. Yep. Less nutrient dense. Well, and that's true too. But we've just messed up our food supply. And it's okay just to understand the lay of the land. You know, I know that there's a lot of opinions about food in general. I only talk about the lens of insulin resistance, putting on the glasses of insulin resistance so that you can have a different conversation about that, right? So that you can make different decisions, because the noise is a lot. There's a lot of noise where you are bombarded with marketing, just bombarded. And so it's all about balance and, you know, eating a keto lifestyle. That's not sustainable. BS. It is extraordinarily sustainable, especially when you're insulin resistant. You've been told by your doctor in so many words, you're just lazy, or you're just eating too much. You're obviously not telling me how much you're eating, or, you know, whatever the conversation is. There are many of them. And that's really frustrating. That's not sustainable, because then you're living in shame and confusion in your brain. And that is really frustrating. And when you start to recognize, oh my gosh, okay, hold on. So what you're telling me is that insulin is a hormone, and that this has been a hormonal issue this entire time. And that if I can stop spiking my sugars, which continues to call on insulin, and I can bring that down, are you telling me I can finally lose weight? Yep, that's what I'm telling you. That's why the testimonies are so powerful. When people text me and they're like, oh my gosh, my weight wouldn't budge. I've only been on the Trio for, you know, a month and I've lost 9.5 pounds, or I've only been on the Trio for, you know, a couple of months and it's been 14 pounds or 5.5 pounds in 5 days. Like, I've got all of the testimonies. They all exist because it jumpstarts your body by putting raw ingredients back into your system. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. Hold on just a second. Thank you so much for sharing. You're Kiki with one side of the family. Christine is your name. Oh, that's wonderful. I love that. Yeah, nobody else really knows that I was called Kiki by my friends' kids when we were homeschooling. So, I mean, a lot of people just don't know that, but that's okay. I mean, obviously, I love the name. I love Kiki. I think it's a darling name. I don't know. We just never stuck with it. But anyway, so This is coming out in 2 minutes, and I'm gonna look at it, and I'm gonna teach you how I look at it to see if it's done and whether or not I have to put it back in for 5 minutes. And then in the meantime, if you want the recipe for the egg white bread, plus a keto lasagna, plus sugar-free chocolate pudding, plus snack ideas, plus I think my coconut flour cookies are in there, plus I think I have the fathead dough in there, which is the almond dough that you can make for almond flour dough that you can make for like pizzas and stuff like that. Plus information on insulin resistance, plus information on the supplementation, plus information on Thrive Market if you want to do that. I think they're giving $60 away right now with an annual membership. All of those things are there. And my website would be on there. And then you can see all the testimonies and all that stuff. That's where you would text recipes to that number. And Instagram, it's at the top of the page for you guys. Make it plural, recipes. If you want to talk to me about the trio or insulin resistance in general, I will answer that texting number. I'm on the other side of that texting number. So you can say, hey, I was on TikTok tonight, I have a question. Hey, I was on Instagram tonight, I have a question. I was on Facebook, I have a question, right? And you want to maybe have somebody that is a little more personalized for your world, not a 22-year-old at GNC that maybe doesn't understand what's going on inside of your body. I'm just saying, again, it's not like I'm not trying to be arrogant. I'm just trying to say, like, it really is nice when you have somebody in your corner, when you have somebody that will walk a journey with you. One of the funnest parts of this is that we have a Facebook group. Over 3,000 women are in there now. And you can get in there through my website. You can get in. There's a Facebook blue button. It's singing because it's Samsung. Isn't that funny? These are the singing appliances. Okay, so I'm going to check this and see. But in the Facebook group, we basically go over, we have a 5-day challenge every single month so that you are equipped at the beginning of every single month. How would that feel for you to be equipped at the beginning of a month so that you could take down that month, get yourself in weight loss position, and then know that you have another, you have more help coming the next month, and then the next month, and then the next month. Okay, so because the whole thing is that you're on a healing journey. This is not an overnight fix. This is not a get ready for the dance fix. You need to heal your body, heal your system. So give yourself until the end of the year. But wow, doesn't it feel good to be in a different place? Time's going to pass anyway. You might as well reverse your insulin resistance and lose weight. So this is what it's looking like. Can you see the brown? That's because of the allulose. Okay. Hey, Barbie, you know what? You have to text the number, recipes, because the word will go away once the live is done. So I literally am just going to kind of look inside of here and see if it's kind of wet. And if it's still a little wet, I'm just going to kind of put my finger in there and I can tell right away. It's a little wet, so I'm going to do 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. So hold on. Oh, that's interesting. There we go. Yes, I apologize for that, man. That's a gorgeous loaf. I know. You think you're going to need the recipe. I know it's really fun. Oh, Barbie. Do you see the phone number up here, Barbie? Can you see that? If you text that number, if you text recipes to that number, it will send you a PDF. And you'll be able to take that PDF and open it up, and you'll be able to see like a bunch of different recipes. 920, where are you located? Oh, you're half asleep. No problem. Let me write down your phone number, Barbie. Hold on. You're adorable. And I love your name. I love your name. Okay. You know, Barbie, you're not the only one. So usually Julie is on my Instagram right now. And she takes melatonin, and then she gets really tired and she goes, I got to go to bed because my melatonin's kicking in. So I am writing down your phone number. And if I do not see it come through 4895, if I do not see it come through on my text, oh, you did get it. Okay. Well, if I don't see it, I'm going to reach out to you, Barbie. I'm going to make sure that you get it. Okay. But if you do it that way, if you do recipes, what'll happen is you will get the, it'll be like an instant. It's an automatic response for the PDF, but then you can just talk to me. So you're welcome, Barbie. It's to get it to you right away, because otherwise you would have to wait for me in order to get it to you. And when I'm going through different platforms to answer people, sometimes it can take a little bit of time for me to get around to people. So that's why, like, if you want faster help, like the PDF, you can just text that, get the PDF, but then you can ask me a question. You can be like, hey, so whatever, you can ask me questions. So don't feel, don't be shy. Don't be a stranger, y'all. You're so funny. Nope, you're good. Okay, this will come out. Yeah, I know. I really do appreciate this particular recipe. I feel like this is the recipe that helps people almost the most, because I feel like bread is the one thing that people miss the most. It really is. So there you go. Hold on just a second. I got to see. All right. Very good. Okay. This is coming out. I should probably get a serrated knife for you so that I can cut it. There we go. So Anna, I don't know if you are still on here. So you did the orange and the cinnamon. I would like to know what other combinations you have tried. She has been such an amazing student of just learning different ingredients. I feel like it is a little bit like learning a new language. If you want to get into the Facebook group, I will do a recipe this Friday because of the 5-day challenge. And we're starting to really build up a really cool repertoire. And that's very, very helpful, because it's hard to imagine or envision making different ingredient foods. Like, it took me a while. It took me a while to get my, you are still on here. Yeah, I'd love to know if you've tried other variations. But I always tell people, one of the things that I did for a really long time as I was transitioning my foods is on my website, you can find a carb blocker. And the carb blocker, I just had it in my pockets for a long time. It stops up to 500 calories of sugar from entering your bloodstream when you sit down to eat. And I wanted to be able to make my journey so that I didn't have a lot of shame involved with it. And so I would keep carb blocker in my pockets. And it was very, very, very beneficial, because then I didn't have to be worried about last minute there's a social event, last minute there's a, like a graduation or a wedding, or, the 4th of July, or you get last minute, you're invited out to dinner with somebody and you're thinking, I'm maybe you feel like you're emotionally unprepared to be in that environment, because maybe you're at the front end of your journey. And it's really, really important that you do things without a lot of shame, because you can't heal a body in shame. You love the chocolate cocoa powder with almond and chocolate chips. Oh, are you using Lily's chocolate chips for that? So the almond and then the cocoa powder, which is the one that I just did, you just texted the number, and now I have yours. Yay! I have your number, Beth. That's so good. Very, very good. I love that. Okay, yes, Lily's chocolate chips. So if you haven't heard about Lily's chocolate chips, They are sweetened with stevia. You can even find them at Walmart in different flavors. The only one that I steer clear of in general is the peanut butter because they just threw some crappy ingredients in there. I'm not saying I never ever buy them, but nah, that's so frustrating. Okay, let's see what she looks like. Here we go. That's a cocoa powdered swerve on top. That's why it's kind of that darker brown. But the brown is from the allulose. Okay? So now normally when I'm not on live and I'm just doing this for myself, I would just leave it in the stone as long as I could so that it starts to cool down. But then I wouldn't be able to show you because this is egg white and you are going to lose volume. And once this is 100% cooled, I will loosely wrap it in paper towel and I'll put it in a Ziploc baggie. Okay? And I'll put it in the fridge. So let me show you what this looks like. I'm wondering if it's still wet. Nope, I think it's good. All right, so I'll move this out of the way. I'm trying to figure out how to turn it off. And it says, I think it's done. I think it is. So the parchment paper is super easy to take off. That is not an issue at all. And don't forget, y'all, if you're on the replay, tell me where you're coming in from. I would love to know. But basically, and again, I would let this cool further, but I want you to see what it looks like. This loaf is lower and wider because I used a baker as opposed to a bread loaf pan. But I do that sometimes just because I like the shape. I just like the shape. But this is very easy to take off. This is very lightweight. It's not grain. It's egg white. And it is going, I'm going to have to cool it on its side so that, well, maybe not. I don't know. I can just feel that it's feeling a little whatever. But this is what it looks like. And I will slice a piece so that you can see what it looks like on the inside. I know, doesn't it look good? Feel free to use it, Beth. Do you mean your phone number? North Carolina. That's awesome. Is that what you mean, Barbie? North Carolina? You guys are awesome. You guys are so fun over on TikTok. All right, hold on. I was on TikTok a lot this last fall, and then things got so busy on Instagram and Facebook. I was swimming. And so now I'm back on TikTok, and I forgot how much fun. Little mosquito. Let me show you what the texture looks like. So basically, this is what it looks like. You can see the marbling of the chocolate. Thank you for following. Texas! Oh, I asked where you were. Yes, thank you. North Carolina, and I'm from Minnesota. Look at the texture. Uh-oh. Oh, hold on. I have to do the puzzle piece on TikTok. I have to verify that I'm a real person, I guess. It's really weird. You only know one other person as passionate as us, and she's tired of me. You're hysterical. Yummy. Yes, it is yummy. It is yummy. And I think the best part about this is really that, I mean, you still get to just have flavors that you want. All you're doing is figuring out how to do it differently. That's all. So I'll put a little bit of butter on here. And again, I would probably normally keep it in the stone the whole time so that it can really maintain its shape while it's cooling, because it is egg white and it will deflate fast. So this now has a little bit of butter on there. So I'll just show that to Instagram and Facebook. There's the butter. That looks blurry. Maybe that's better. There we go. and then TikTok. There you go. There you go. Thanks for the hearts. You guys are awesome. Thank you for sharing, Barbie. You're so fun. So if you need anything from me, Instagram, Facebook, you know where to find me. Message me, use the phone number, text recipes, or text me. Either way, it's great because you can either get a free PDF with this recipe in it, or if you have questions, you can just talk directly to me, okay? Because I'm on the other side of the texting number, all right? So there you go. Have a really good night, Instagram, and I will talk to you guys again, all right? See you later. Have a really good night, you guys.